Proposition 65 has been around since 1986. It's administered by the Office of Environmental Health Hazard and Assessment in California. So it's not even a national legislation, it's a state legislation, it's a local law. And it's not about the presence of the substances, it's about exposure to the substances. So you can make a product out of pure lead as long as you're not giving anyone any unsafe exposure to that pure lead. So if we are providing an unsafe exposure, we have to provide a clear and reasonable warning to the person in California before the exposure happens. There are some safe harbor level requirements that are set in place for certain chemicals. So some chemicals might have a 10 micrograms per day limit. Others may not. And if they don't, you have to determine your own safe levels based on your own research and determine if you're providing unsafe exposure. So there's never 100% compliance with this. There's always some unknowns because you are doing your own interpretations of toxicity levels that are not necessarily well defined by the regulation. The problem with this is that it's based on exposure. So exposure can not only happen from products, it can happen from being in a store that had something in the air conditioner, from renters exposed in an apartment complex, from people companies have gotten sued because they use smoke machines at concerts without warning the public that it had Prop 65 substances in it. So it's just wherever a lawyer can get money. There's over 900 substances on this list, so the chances that they're present are almost guaranteed. So it's a matter of determining whether or not the risk of exposure is there. Penalties can be as high as $2,500 per violation per day. So if you're exposing 10,000 people per day for 6 months, you've got a huge, huge liability on your hands. And when Prop 65 settlements happen, they happen in the millions of dollars. So the problem is that the enforcement is handled by the district attorney general's office, but the regulation allows for any person acting in the public interest to bring an enforcement action. So I could go to California and bring an enforcement action against you if I wanted to. And so that has brought up the rise of these Prop 65 bounty hunter lawyers. These are law firms that their entire business is scrubbing the Prop 65 list, figuring out where those substances are present in consumer products, testing those products, finding them present, seeing there's no warning, and then issuing a enforcement action, right? That happens. So because you have now attorneys enforcing this, and it's in their financial interest to come after you, it's really a risk analysis perspective. It's not, hey, let's eliminate these substances from our product. Let's make sure there's no chance that there's an exposure we're not warning about that we could get nailed for later. So what happened is that companies just started putting the basic warning on all their products so they couldn't get sued, right? The product contains the chemicals, may contain the chemicals known to the state of California to cause cancer birth defects. So California realized that that's diluting the regulation because if the warning is on everything, there's over 100 of these warnings posted within Disneyland, for example, that nobody's gonna pay any attention to them. So they changed the warning so you have to have the name of the chemical in here. That forces you to do the research, do the analysis, do the testing, figure out if the substances are there, and then disclose which substance is there. I can't just say this thing might cause cancer. I have to tell you exactly what substance might cause you the cancer. And if I don't tell you the right substance, I could be held accountable for that. So this has put everybody on notice for Prop 65, and this is why you might see a lot more interest from your customers. So just keep in mind, Prop 65 is about exposure. It's not about content.
Learn more by viewing the full-length video online at greensofttech.com/videos. Plus, learn about our environmental regulation solutions online at greensofttech.com.